Could you do me a huge favour?
Yeah, sure.
And summarise these first 3 episodes. Tell me what's going on.
Right.
What's the world? Who are the characters? What are?
So the main
Seven
character
Deadly
is
Sins?
a talking pig, and his sidekick
Yep.
is
Hawk.
is a blonde boy with a broken sword, and
Yes.
he is called Meliodas.
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 Yes.
And there is, in the first 3 episodes, we uncover, we learn about the world. It's a fantasy medieval setting where we have sort of knights and monsters and what are the main people
Magic.
called? Holy Knights, aren't they? They're the Holy Knights,
We have the Holy Knights.
who are the
We've got
best
Seven
knights in the
Deadly
world.
Sins.
And then we've got the 7 Deadly
Yep.
Sins, which is the spin-off. And they just went off into, it's like a breakout group. You know, we had the main boy band, and then this
Yeah,
is the
like S Club Junior.
S Club Junior. Yeah. That's bold claims there, Sam. Like, you know, the
Let's see if anybody gets that reference.
also the 7 Deadly Sins are supposed to be like worth 100 holy knights. So you are putting S Club Juniors on a pedestal way above the originals, which I'm not sure I can agree with.
I don't know. Poppy Love was a good song.
Puppy Love. Oh, neurons. No.
By activating them.
You know they've got back together, S Club Juniors.
I refuse.
They're doing a tour.
Really?
Yeah.
They're back.
Yeah, they've come back for a tour. We nearly bought tickets because
That's insane.
Lucy thought about going. Anyway, 7 Deadly Sins, the S Club Juniors of the anime world. They
Of the anime world.
there's a lot of mystery around these first 3 episodes, and I think in general in the series, trying to figure out what's actually happened is a part of the whole show. But basically, we're following Meliodas, who is trying to get the band back together, get the 7 Deadly Sins back together with his new acquaintance Elizabeth, Princess Elizabeth, who is also trying to do the same,
Princess Elizabeth.
because
Yep.
she's figured out that there's the Holy Knights are maybe not
They're
as
corrupt.
They're corrupt, yeah.
There's something going on with the Holy Knights, and they're harming more than they're doing good, and they're kind of conceited in their power, and she wants to change that by bringing back the 7 Deadly Sins and kind of saving the day.
Yeah, and we meet our second deadly sin. We meet Diane, the giant Diane,
Diane,
serpent sin of envy, as she's known, and Meliodas is the dragon sin, the sin of wrath. So we've literally got
the Sin of Wrath.
it's just badass, man. Like you can't.
Really, you like it?
So I'm not saying the show. I'm saying Meliodas.
Yeah, but the
Like,
theming.
I love
and
the
the
theming.
ideas
I
behind
love that. Like, I'm sorry, it's just he's the Red Power Ranger. He's the main guy. He's Wrath. He's
Yeah.
got that. He's got that central feel that it's just like he's just Wrath, man. Like
everyone like gravitates.
yeah,
towards
he's the
him.
captain, as Diane calls him, and he's just it's just a cool concept.
What did you think of? Speaking of Meliodas, him being introduced and basically just low difficultying anybody that he fights
So that's, I think,
until episode 3.
why? Who does he have a problem with in episode 3?
Well,
Oh, yeah. No, he does.
guilt,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
beats him, right? What's he called?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right.
Guilt Hunter.
Sorry, that completely went out of my memory. But yeah, so well, how to take this? Because my main problem, one of the main problems with this show is, I think, with the 7 Deadly Sins being better than every Holy Night and walking through everything, it did sort of beg the question: well, where's the development?
Where's the threat?
Where's the threat, yeah.
Like,
But then we've
the
just
problem
seen
to climb, right?
We've just seen that this big bad Holy Knight wipes him out. But I don't think that's him. I think that's one of those little troll guys. That's my prediction. Because we got introduced to shapeshifters
from
at the beginning of this
episode
episode.
3,
And I think this is one of them. Because he's not dead, because he's the main character. So, like, we know he's not dead.
He's the main character, so he's clearly not dead.
Yeah.
So, like, how has he gotten out of it?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to think of solutions around that. So I'm going for that, which brings back the problem, because therefore this guy isn't competition for him. But then he has to be, because there has to be a threat. There has to be someone that's going to actually.
Does there need to be a threat this early though?
But this seems like a big character. The way they've put him into the backstory of both of the main protagonists. They built
my
this.
father. You knew my father, and
Unless
now
that's
my
going to be
father's
played
dead,
off
and-
as sort of like a joke, and like he is actually nothing. It's just coincidence. Which I think is a bit of a long shot for this. I think he is going to be a big bad, or some
Guild
he's
Hunter.
Guild Hunter. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to think now. I'm all up in the air. I thought.
So I like it when a series introduces, especially with shonen, they introduce a character at the beginning who is basically at max level. They are super strong. They are like basically they've already had an arc before the show starts, and I think it's really interesting
like
for
Geralt
that dynamic to then
from
see.
The Witcher.
Okay, like from The Witcher, yeah. So like he's already gone through all this like insane stuff, and he's like really powerful, so he can fight the monsters.
But
and
he still
the
finds
interesting
it hard, to be fair.
part. Yeah, like the interesting part is being like, okay, so there is still room to grow, but it's not so much just like Goku, where he unlocks a new form or he just punches even harder. It's like it's technical, and we're seeing maybe there's a slight decline. So how do you keep up your morals and stuff? And I think with Meliodas, there is an opportunity for that there. But my problem is that I don't like him as a character.
What, because of his behaviour towards Elizabeth?
Well, there's that, and then like literally the only things we know about him are that he likes to sexually assault women, and he's a terrible cook, and that is and he's really strong. There are three things. These are the
He's
three
really
things that we
powerful.
learn about our
Look,
main
there's a lot.
character. And like, look, yeah,
I was just gonna say, I absolutely agree with you, but his scenes are kick-ass. Like his scenes when
and that's what I hate the most. I'm like sitting there, and it's like, oh, they did impact frames when he's fighting that knight.
Yeah.
Oh, he pulled the sword out in one go. Oh, he's just like
You
he's
see
doing
the tickle of
backflips
the
and dodging
tattoo.
in midair.
you just see the tickle of the
Yeah,
tattoo.
the little tattoos like on his. And I'm like, God damn you for having such cool scenes, but being an objective piece.
Yeah, when he catches that spear, that is insane, and then he just like launches it back. It's like,
it's
yeah,
so good.
yeah, you
And
show
again-
it, Meliodas.
There's these moments because the counter side as well with Guilt Hunter is he's thrown this spear thinking, all right, I'll destroy the village.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Like, I'm annoyed.
Nah,
I
that's
was
a
going to
test
destroy it
though,
the slow
dude.
way. I'm going to do it the strong way.
That's a test.
And then he catches it, and then Meliodas throws it back, and it might be a test or whatever, like just to kind of weed out the seven deadly sins. But we then get Meliodas throwing it back, and we see Guilt Hunter. He's just sat in his chair,
Yeah.
and the only thing he does, he moves his head slightly to the side, and he gets a little cut on his cheek, and he's just like, "All right,
Yeah.
guess where I'm going next?" And I'm like, that is so cool.
I'm still not sure on the physics of that,
But-
because the spear breaks the entire building and then is stopped by the piece of
Destroys the
wooden
building.
chair, like
Yeah.
right next to his head. It's like, okay, that's convenient loss of
This is
momentum
aura.
there. Sure. Yeah. So some very badass scenes. Yeah, he's not like a. He's not. I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't like the seediness and the way the way he treats Elizabeth is ridiculously unnecessary. I don't really get why they put
Absolutely.
that in as a character trait. It doesn't seem.
It literally adds nothing.
It adds nothing. And without that, I feel like the target audience is younger, and you would get more kids involved and things like that. But with that, I don't want to show this to kids when that's your protagonist.
Yeah. When that's the protagonist, and he's bragging
You can't have
about
it
how
both
many
ways.
women he's groped
Yeah.
and like how many panties he's stolen, and then he does that to Elizabeth during episode 3 as well, and I'm like, okay, what is this adding?
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, aside from a really shoehorned in piece of fan service, like, oh,
Yeah.
we get to see Elizabeth's panties, oh, she's wearing like a
Yeah.
skimpy outfit, like, narratively,
Does
what is
nothing.
this adding?
As soon as Elizabeth
Like,
walks on scene, though,
if-
you know that it's fan service.
Like she's wearing the leotard, like the skimpy, like you can see a belly button, like everything. And it's like, oh, okay, so I guess this is what she's being reduced to. She's helpless. She needs like Meliodas to do stuff for
Yep.
her. But again, to talk about fan service and think about like its use in a piece of media, let's think about High School of the Dead. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know this is a wild like switch up to go to, but High School of the Dead is gory, and the fan service is there almost as a joke.
Yeah.
It's there
Well, it's
to
a
be
parody,
laughed at. It's there to
isn't
be.
it? It's a bit of a...
Yeah, it 100% is a parody. Like somebody's firing a sniper rifle, and some girl's boobs are moving in such a way that the bullet passes in between them as they flop around. Like we see a panty shot as a girl is being devoured by zombies. Like the fan service there isn't there to be sexy and there to be like oh my goodness, it's so hot and so like, oh, I'm titillated by looking at this. It's there as a commentary and there as like a look at how ridiculous this is. There's somebody's panties and here's a load of blood.
Yeah.
Like that is a statement. Then think about shows that are purely fan service. The idea is there. The purpose of the show is to titillate and it is to be sexy.
Yeah.
Like High School DxD, you're looking at Redo of Healer. Those things where it is the focus is let's do something sexy. The idea is that it's a sexy show, but it's not porn. It's one step away from hentai. That is the audience. At least there's a purpose to it. Here, it just feels like nothing.
Yeah.
It's just there, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not moving Meliodas' character forward like at all. Elizabeth looks like a worse character because she's not calling him out on his bullshit.
Yep.
At least in other shows, like if somebody did something like that, like
Yeah, it's
rope
left up to the
somebody, you'd
pig
get, like,
to call him out.
Yeah. And the pig is like already like the butt of most of the jokes. Like the pig is being like threatened to be
Yeah.
cooked every other scene, and it's not until Diane turns up and like nukes the forest that he gets any form of like punishment, and he doesn't care, and he
Yeah.
keeps doing it. And I'm like, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Agreed.
and I'm sorry to get so caught up on that, but it is something that just it is a glaring red spot on what otherwise could be like a really interesting, I'm already max level, here's what I can do kind of guy.
I guess the premise is, when you're already max level, what else is there to do than fornicate with women?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
So, Elizabeth as a character, I don't really like anyway. Like, I think she's just there.
Yeah.
She's just there.
Too damselly.
She's too damselly, but also there's so much exposition. There's so many people talking. I don't buy it. The whole second episode, I don't buy the kids' emotional sort of revelations, and like that all feels really forced. I really wanted to like this show. I actually watched this years ago. I watched the first few
Really?
episodes.
You
Yeah.
actually have
So I
checked it out before.
yeah, so like I'm talking probably closer to when it came out, 4 or 5 years ago maybe. I stuck on a few episodes. I think probably because I knew probably we'd had a conversation or something around anime, and I just thought, this looks quite fun. I'll give it a go. And I didn't
And
get
it's
into
on
it then.
Netflix, and it's like an
Yeah.
Netflix exclusive, so
Yeah,
like it's
easy
easy to
access.
watch. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's not like it's like
Yeah. And I didn't get into it then, and so I thought there must have been a reason why. And I think generally it's just all of those things ruin what could have been something really great. Like I really like.
yeah.
I think the Deadly Sins is a cool concept. Like it's throughout history, it's throughout religion and whatever else. I think the Deadly Sins are.
There are other shows that have used the deadly sins
Yeah.
in like an interesting
Yeah.
way to, and like the sin affects the character and the way that they move, right?
Yeah.
I look at Meliodas, I don't see any wrathfulness. I see a horny.
I don't know. No,
kid.
I don't know. I disagree. I think there is wrathfulness there because
Yeah.
I just think it's very well disguised. I think he's just like cold, and on the surface it's just like, yeah, but like underneath is blood boiling. And I to give it credit, I do think I do see him snapping at points, and like when he takes out the guard on top of the hill, and there's just sort of this like unforgivingness about it. It's like, look, you can push me so far, and then I'm gonna absolutely destroy you.
And then I'm actually going to try.
Yeah. Then I'm absolutely going to try, because I think being OP, he's just so used to, like, he doesn't have to, like, people can attack him, people can do what they want, and it won't literally lay a scratch on him. So he's not really fussed until it reaches a certain point. But when it does, he unleashes wrath. I think it would be a bit rubbish if he was just this angry person who was always angry, because that's not really wrath. I think wrath should build, and it should have that, like, low keyness, and then it just comes out and explodes. So, yeah. I don't know. But either way,
no, I'll agree with you on that. I think,
I was very excited, and it just didn't really. It just has too much wrong with it. Really, I just don't really think it's. I don't like the seediness, and I don't like Elizabeth, and I think the pacing's a little weird.
The pacing is kind of odd, right? Like the first episode, most of it is just kind of sitting around talking in the bar, and then there's a bit of a fight at the end. Episode 2 is just, let's help these villagers like reclaim their water source, but it's just, Like,
I also don't like Diane.
Stakes. It was just kind of like Diane, like, kind of annoys me. Like the fact, like even just the way that they found her. She's just sleeping in a forest, and she's like, enslaved these goblins to do whatever. Like, she's very tropey. She kind of turns up, and she's the love. I know that she's envy and whatever, and she's envious of the captain, but she just plays into that type of, like, somebody who's decided, I love this person, and so anybody else, like, needs to get out of the way. But it's also that trope that I don't like in Japanese pop culture, which is, if you do something that I don't like, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to be physically abusive. Like, obviously, for Meliodas, it doesn't matter, but it sets this almost precedent of, if I don't like something, then if I'm physical, then the problem is solved. And here it's trying to be used for comedy, where she punches Meliodas.
I don't know. I think you're looking
cheating,
dude. I think you're looking into it too deep there. Like, I think you're critiquing
Probably.
Because you've already got a bee in your bonnet about this show, and therefore you're jumping on the, like, come on, we know
I don't know what you're talking about.
Violence in TV shows.
I didn't watch 3 seasons and get horribly disappointed, you know.
I think I don't see that.
I probably do. I think I've got some valid points in there, but also, you're right. I'm probably maybe projecting a bit too much. I didn't hate these first 3 episodes. I thought there were moments that were good.
I did want to see what happened in that fight. I do want to find
positive.
out what the reveal is.
All things considered,
yeah.
Do you think that this is something that we could show our friends, our family, to kind of get them involved in anime?
For me, I think there are some really good bits in this show, and I think, like, the aesthetic, I think the world is quite nice. Anyone coming into this who hasn't got, like, a background in anime, or even just, like, watching anything in this sort of medieval fantasy world setting, might get something from this and might enjoy it. And clearly, like, Alfie and others have watched this, and it's been fairly successful, because, like, it's a Netflix production.
Yeah. And it's got like 3 or 4 seasons and a movie and like all this stuff. There's a sequel anime coming out as well.
Well, that's another problem that I had trying to find this blooming show, because there's, like, Netflix has got like 4 properties on it, and they've all got, like, little subtitles. Even the main series has got, like, a little subtitle that seems to be a more recent series that's added into the same linear. I don't know. We ended up watching the same thing, which was good.
Luckily.
So it's clearly successful in its own right. I don't think I would recommend this to someone, just because I think there's not enough positive, like, wow moments. There's not enough good bits to sort of overwhelm and, counteract the negative stuff that we've mentioned.
Yeah. I think there are a lot of hype moments, and there are a lot of really
yeah,
cool
yeah.
individual scenes.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they are connected as well as they could be. There's too much talking and weird character moments that just don't let you buy into this world. Like, there's too much of, like, Meliodas being pervy, or Diana just going, okay, cool, I'm part of the team, or the power scaling of, like, the Holy Knights and stuff. There's too much there that I think if this was your kind of exposure to anime and we're trying to get people interested in it, they would go, oh, well, this is a plot hole, and this is a plot hole, or like this doesn't make sense, or this was a bit too, like, perverted for my tastes. I think there's just, the bad outweighs the good, unfortunately. And you know what? Maybe, like, later down the line it course corrects, but at this point in the first 3 episodes, there's a bit too much that you can just say, not for me, thank you.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to rush back to watch it anytime soon, put it that way. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Right, shall we leave it there?
We shall. Yeah, let's leave it there. Let's leave 7 Deadly Sins on the cutting room floor and not think about it again.
Sounds like a plan.